Hello and welcome to our travel guide on the top things to do in New Orleans, Louisiana. New Orleans is the largest and most famous city in Louisiana, and it is located on the banks of the Mississippi River. It is a city that is known for its rich and diverse culture, history, and cuisine. It is also a city that has a lot of fun and excitement, especially during its famous festivals and celebrations. In this video, we will show you some of the best things that you can do in this amazing destination. Let's get started. The first thing you should do in New Orleans is to visit its historic and iconic landmarks, which are the symbols of the city's past and present. New Orleans has some of the most beautiful and impressive landmarks in the country, such as the Jackson Square, which is a historic park and plaza that is surrounded by historic buildings such as the St. Louis Cathedral, the Cabildo, and the Presbytère. The National W.Y. Museum, which is a museum that showcases the history and stories of the World War II and its impact on the world, and the St. Charles Avenue, which is a scenic and historic street that is lined with mansions, churches, and streetcars. You can also visit some of the other landmarks in New Orleans, such as the French Quarter, which is the oldest and most famous neighborhood in the city and has a lot of charm, character, and architecture. The Garden District, which is a neighborhood that has some of the most elegant and luxurious homes and gardens in the city, and the Lafayette Cemetery No. 1, which is a cemetery that has some of the most ornate and elaborate tombs and mausoleums in the city. The second thing you should do in New Orleans is to experience its music and nightlife. New Orleans is a city that has a vibrant and diverse music and nightlife scene, where you can find everything from jazz, blues, and soul to rock, hip-hop, and electronic. You can find some of the best and most famous music and nightlife venues in New Orleans, such as the Bourbon Street, which is a street that is the heart and soul of the city's nightlife and has a lot of bars, clubs, and live music venues. The Frenchman Street, which is a street that is the hub of the city's music and has a lot of venues that feature local and international musicians and bands. And the Preservation Hall, which is a venue that is dedicated to preserving and promoting the traditional New Orleans jazz music. You can also try some of the other music and nightlife venues in New Orleans, such as the Tipitinas, which is a venue that is a legend in the city's music and has hosted some of the most famous and influential artists and performers in the city. The House of Blues, which is a venue that is a part of a national chain and has a lot of concerts and events that feature various genres and styles of music. And the Howlin' Wolf, which is a venue that is a popular and eclectic spot that has a lot of shows and acts that range from comedy, burlesque, and cabaret to rock, funk, and reggae. The third thing you should do in New Orleans is to taste its cuisine and drinks. New Orleans is a city that has a delicious and unique cuisine and drinks, which reflect its multicultural and culinary influences. You can find some of the most famous and authentic dishes and drinks in New Orleans, such as the gumbo, which is a stew that is made with meat or seafood, vegetables, and spices. The jambalaya, which is a rice dish that is cooked with meat, seafood, vegetables, and seasonings. The beignets, which are deep-fried donuts that are sprinkled with powdered sugar. The po' boy, which is a sandwich that is made with French bread and filled with meat or seafood, lettuce, tomatoes, and mayonnaise. The sazerac, which is a cocktail that is made with rye whiskey, absinthe, sugar, and bitters. And the hurricane, which is a cocktail that is made with rum, passion fruit juice, orange juice, and grenadine. You can find some of the best and most popular places to eat and drink in New Orleans, such as the Café du Monde, which is a cafe that is famous for its beignets and coffee. The Commander's Palace, which is a restaurant that is one of the most prestigious and renowned restaurants in the city and serves Creole and Cajun cuisine. And the Pat O'Brien's, which is a bar that is famous for its hurricane cocktail and its dueling pianos. The fourth thing you should do in New Orleans is to join its festivals and celebrations. New Orleans is a city that has a lot of festivals and celebrations that are colorful, lively, and fun. You can join some of the most famous and spectacular festivals and celebrations in New Orleans, such as the Mardi Gras, which is a carnival that is celebrated before Lent and has a lot of parades, floats, costumes, and beads. The Jazz and Heritage Festival, which is a festival that is held every spring and celebrates the music, culture, and heritage of the city and the region. and the Halloween, which is a holiday that is celebrated on October 31st and has a lot of parties, events, and haunted attractions. You can also join some of the other festivals and celebrations in New Orleans, such as the French Quarter Festival, which is a festival that is held every April and showcases the music, food, and art of the French Quarter. The Voodoo Music and Arts Experience, which is a festival that is held every October and features some of the biggest and best names in music and art. And the Christmas, which is a holiday that is celebrated on December 25 and has a lot of lights, decorations, and festivities. The fifth and final thing you should do in New Orleans is to explore its surroundings and nearby attractions. New Orleans is a city that is close to some of the most interesting and beautiful places and attractions in the region. You can explore some of the surroundings and nearby attractions in New Orleans, such as the Swamp Tours, which are tours that take you to the swamps and bayous of Louisiana and let you see the wildlife, nature, and culture of the area. The Plantation Tours, which are tours that take you to some of the historic and majestic plantations of Louisiana and let you see the architecture, history, and stories of the place. And the Cemetery Tours, which are tours that take you to some of the oldest and most fascinating cemeteries of New Orleans and let you see the tombs, monuments, and legends of the place. You can also explore some of the other surroundings and nearby attractions in New Orleans, such as the Audubon Zoo, which is a zoo that has a lot of animals, exhibits, and attractions. The City Park, which is a park that has a lot of green spaces, activities, and amenities. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends.